in the
Why do you
acting
think that
world.
is? What the creative side is?
Well, because losing out money, you got to take drugs. You're going through so much shit to try and deal with life. You are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far. Who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. But when you lose your man,
Welcome on into another episode of the Healthy Discussion Show. Now, this one is a bit vivid, right? But I think these are the conversations that we must have. This is the Healthy Discussion Show. Terrance Howard did a wonderful job. He is highly intelligent, highly educated. He stood on his principles and morals. He has a lot of breakthroughs that they don't want to admit in the science world, right? But he's talking about manhood, and I believe that it is an attack against the truth, and it is attack against masculinity, right? If you're masculine, they're going to say that you think you're the prize. You have morals, you have principles, you have standards. You get attacked all day long. If you walk away from something that basically don't benefit you, and or you go where you're tolerated instead of celebrated, then you're a coward for that. It's just so many different things, so many different aspects. But I tell men, stay on your pivot, stay on your cue, because that's what men do. Morality, principles is all we have. And make sure that you keep your back door closed, because a lot of people bend over for things and they do things just to attain things. And what's the point of gaining money, right? Or gaining the world to lose everything?
man card. That's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card,
What is that? What do you mean by that?
you give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it.
Facts.
So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Now I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things. When you give up those things,
I 100,000% agree with everything Terrance Howard is saying. Because a lot of people will give things up. Ladies, y'all will give, okay, let me sleep with him, let me lay with him just to get some type of monetary gain. And then you figure out, oh, I don't want to have kids. I don't want to do this. You don't want to do anything a woman actually is born to do, but you want to do everything else. And you wonder why your life isn't so fulfilled. Right? Because money can't purchase everything. Yeah, it can make you happy temporary. But at the end of the day, you can't take money with you. So what else are you going to do outside of that realm? So I 1,000% agree with what Terrance is saying. A lot of people in Hollywood, a lot of people in the world, they will do whatever. You could see, for instance, you could see your friend going down the wrong path, right? You got a lot of people that won't even say anything, utter a word, and they'll allow their friend to go down that wrong path. My question is that a true friend? If I feel something, if I think about something and I want to say something and I believe that you're going down the wrong path and my consciousness is telling me that you're going down the wrong path, love or hate me, I'm going to let you know. Eventually, you're going to begin to respect it. And I think that characteristic is lost in this world. In this current modern world that we have, a lot of different characteristics are lost. And we have to be leaders if we want to lead the future, right? If we want to lead the kids, because these kids are confused, very much so. Very much so. Like I say, one of the three things to me that's missing in this world is the truth, masculinity, and another big problem that we have is fatherless homes. Because if we had the nuclear family, life would be much better. But most don't. Most do not. So if you have a nuclear family, congratulations to you. Keep that. Don't run away from it. Embrace it. Let's continue. Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel.
but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
Right.
Get punked out and pimped out by some over greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card, no matter what.
Man, I mean, you know, one of the things you're seeing, you went to a whole different place.
Sorry.
No, I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did.
I agree with them. The things that they do. So now they must be drugged up. They must begin to drink alcohol. They trying to drink their pains away. That's not going to work. That's why I don't drink and I don't smoke. There's nothing to run away from. Face yourself, right? Face your reality. If you want to get somewhere, be grounded. Make sure that you can get there. Put the work in. You know, you don't have to. A lot of people want shortcuts, right? And some shortcuts mean that you may have to bend backwards. Some shortcuts mean that you may have to do something that you don't want to do. But at the end of the day, who are you shorting in that situation? Who are you cutting in that situation? You're literally harming yourself. It's a double-edged sword. You're gaining grounds, but at the same time, you're losing thyself. Never lose thyself. Stand on your principles. Stand on your ground. Stand on your square. Your morals. And everything else that will actually make you a man. Ladies, stand on your principles as well. You guys, all of this having sex, just run around randomly, having sex, engaging in sex with different people, taking on different spirits. You wonder why you panic. You have panic attacks and everything else because you have too many spirits, right? You're doing things that you're in disgrace of. So your morality is low. So you begin to what? I'm going to the club every day. Or I'm going to drink alcohol every day. Or I'm going to smoke some weed every day. Or I'm going to take this drug. I'm going to do that drug. I'm going to be at this party. I'm going to be at that party. At the end of the day, how long do you plan on running? Because one thing I know about running away from something, right? One time you will run out of breath, right? Eventually you will run out of breath. And at that point, you will realize, why am I running from these things, right? I have to face these things. And most importantly, you have to be accountable for it. Now, I know that's a hard thing to actually ask for a woman to do, right? So I really don't expect it because life is life, right? But at the same time, if you're a man, you definitely have to hold your square and hold your accountability because no one else is going to do it for you, right? It's hard being a man, but it's actually it creates great accomplishments. You're allowed to build, conquer, create. So I'm glad that I was born a man. You know, we're born a male that turns into a man, you know?
No matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy.
Big facts.
And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process, I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in, no matter what.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was it?
You guys agree with Terrance on this one? I totally 100% agree. I think this needed to be said. Sometimes, you know, you just never know what you may say as you talk. This one needed to be said, and he wasn't afraid to say it. He didn't say, well, just pay attention to the rest of it. Pay attention to the rest of it. I think this was well said.
The consequences when you said no.
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, you know, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while.
No,
go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music.
So basically, Diddy was a sweetheart, trying to lure him in different ways. Hey, I know what you do. I know that you act. I know that you're doing this. I know that you're doing that. And that's how they try to line you up. I am glad that Terrance Howard stood on his square, because you got a lot of people in Hollywood that's up to no good. You got a lot of people that's Hollywood, that's in Hollywood, that's getting bent over by Hollywood. So none to say, as a man, you have to stay on your pivot, stay on your square at all times, because you just never know what's actually, you never know if someone may take your integrity and or your dignity. Leave your thoughts down below. Diddy is vicious for this one.
So I come over there and I play the music, and he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you.
Yikes.
That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in and make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept.
Fact.
So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing. And have lost businesses because I don't.
That was well said. Always be the man in the room, not the guy. Let me repeat. Always be the man in the room, not just the guy. Because the man gets the respect. The guy, no. Emotionally unbalanced. Willing to get allured for anything. Don't care about dignity, pride. Don't have any principles. Don't have any standards. Don't have any morals. That's the guy. A man, the total opposite. I 100% agree with Terrance Howard on this one. Well said.
I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit, because the man card means everything.
I had no idea we're going to go this direction with the podcast. This is absolute. But listen, we've talked about it. We've had a lot of the guys on to talk about this stuff. Are you done with Hollywood because of this specific reason?
I'm still working. I still, I haven't made the money necessary to do all of the other stuff. So I still have to go and do the chitlin circuit. I still have to do the job that I need to. But eventually, I've done what I set out to do, which was to redefine the universe. I've proven what I've set out to do, and that's why I have all the patents. Whether they evaluate it or not, that's up to them. But I've done the work and finished it. Now I can go on and do whatever else we need to do. Hi, everyone.
That was well said. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to leave this down below. Let me know what you think about Diddy tried to get with Terrance Howard. Terrance Howard was not going for it. He let him know he's a man. He's standing on his square. And that's a good thing. That's a great thing. And the fact that he actually shared this, right? Let me know what you thought about him actually sharing this, being a man to actually saying, yeah, that man tried to hit on me, but, it ain't no Brokeback Mountain over here, right? You ain't going up the mountain over here. Climb your own mountain. So to me, that was honorable. That was very respectful of. And the fact that Terrance Howard stood on the square, I got much respect for him off of this one. Because as you shall and as you're supposed to, right? You got to watch your Bungholio. On that one, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend to tell a friend. This is the beginning. This is not the end. Another episode of the Healthy Discussion Show. And remember, positivity over negativity.